Foggy mornings while we're stacking. Semi's over there, he just got loaded up. They finished about 80 acres last night and we're stacking bales. So, as we're just barely trying to move the pivot out the way to where we could bale this last swath right here that's underneath the pivot. We were gonna move the pivot out the way and it wasn't working. And when you look over here, you can see someone had the nerve to steal wire. A simple wire that goes from this second end tower to the end tower. This wire runs along the top of the pipe just to feed that last tower electricity. And someone decided to freaking cut it off and steal it. Like, what even? Who decides to do that? But whatever. We're gonna see if we can call the electrician and tell him to lead new wire in here and then we can move our pivot. It is what it is, I guess. And we're done stacking for the day. Loading up another semi. I think it's about time for Red Bull. All loaded up, headed out. Moving this 45 right now to this stack of bales. That way, when my brother gets back with the other semi, he can load himself up. And then I think that's all the stacks for this field. Another semi's loaded up. It's the last one. Besides over here, I got 5 more stacks. We're just gonna load this up. The next semi is gonna be here in a few minutes. Gonna load this up and then call it a day. And that's it for today. Swather just got done cutting the last few acres. After this, we only got 120 acres left to swat. Other than that, time to go home. And the plan now for today is I got to take this tractor here. I'm gonna go take it to our shop, unhook the strip till, and hook on our disker. Got the chains rolled up. Let's go unhook it. Now just find a spot to park this thing. Looks good to me. We're all hooked up. Let's go see how it works. Let's see how it works. We may or may not have to go deeper yet. We'll see how it looks in the end. Or maybe it'll be a little too dry, we don't know yet. Maybe we'll have to send the pivot around one time to quickly water an inch. But we'll do a round and we'll see how it looks. So as we're looking back here, it's still a little bit too dry. There's still pieces like this, it's still stuck. We wanted to break it up completely. So we're gonna turn on the pivot and water it once and then come back here another day and then it should work a lot better. So we're gonna move to a new field and see if that works better there. Well, this still doesn't work either. So I think we're gonna go to the next field. That one is for sure gonna work because we watered it previously. And like last week sometime I believe we watered it, so that field should definitely work. So we're gonna go over there. So I've been driving for quite a while now already. I did 2 rows here, or 2 passes at 180 degrees, and then I did 4 passes right here going 225 degrees. And it looks like it does the same both ways. On 180 it still leaves big clumps, but it feels like 225 does a little bit less of clumps, but there's still quite a few. But then here on this one pass right here, I drove 2 times over it. And it seems like that's how we're probably gonna have to do it. We're probably gonna have to drive over it twice. So we're gonna have to go once at one angle and then a second time over the other angle just in order to get it nice, somewhat flat and somewhat all the clumps broken apart. So if I go 180, then there's long clumps like that. I don't know if you can see, but right here, it's one long clump of all the wheat stuck together. And that's not really what we want, so maybe we'll have to go twice. I'm still messing with it, doing different things. I'm tilting it further forward, putting the nose down, deeper, shallower, all sorts of things. So I'll mess with it. Maybe we'll just have to go twice over everything, but we'll see. I made a mistake. I was doing the west half and we wanted to disc the east half. We'll figure out. I only did like 15, 20 acres maybe. We'll figure out something to do with that end of the field, but hopefully it just won't blow dust later. But we'll see. But yeah, I'll continue. We figured out we're just gonna go double over it. So after we go this way, we're gonna just go 180 again and then go over it again, and then that's gonna do a whole lot better job. So that's just what we have to do now. But the reason why we're disking now is we're wanting to list up beds on it, on this field, just half of it, and then plant peanuts. Normally we do always plant cotton. Alright, got interrupted by a phone call. But normally we do always plant cotton on here, but since the cotton prices are so low, we're looking around and we found some peanut contracts for a better price. So now, since we're listing up beds, we want beds for peanuts, because then later when you dig up the peanuts and harvesting them, it just does a way better job. So that's why we're now disking it and listing up beds. We have quite a few fields that we're going to do this onto. We're kind of pushing a lot of water to more smaller areas to where we can, because peanuts use a lot more water than cotton. So we're trying to push a lot more water to the peanuts, so we're not going to be having as many circles planted this year, but we'll have more peanuts than normal. But we'll still have probably a little bit of cotton. I'm not quite sure how much, but we're definitely going to have a lot more peanuts this year than we ever have. We haven't planted peanuts in quite a few years, but we have all the equipment for it and everything, but we're going to be planting a lot of peanuts this year. Next morning and back to discing. field. And this field sure looks a whole lot better, or it's doing a whole lot better of a job than the previous one. So this field we won't have to go over it twice. So just one time, and only this half of the field, and that's 60 acres, and then on to the next one. Now we're at a new field. We're supposed to be doing this half right here, but the pivot is still in the way, so I'm gonna have to go to the short rows first. A couple rounds there. I just did one pass here along where the pivot is gonna be. I'm doing 90 degrees right now. So I'm gonna go over there to the short rows, do that first, and hopefully by then the pivot will be further out the way and I can continue here by the long rows. It's just a little dusty. Yeah, that could be a problem. Closest thing I got to a hammer. Well, after a lot more hammering and hitting it with this darn wrench, finally got it out of there. So, back to disking. So my tractor started overheating a little bit, and I think I found the reason why. So I'm gonna quickly clean that off and then get back to work. And looks like the pivot's almost out the way. Just needs like another 100 yards or so. It just needs to be across on this side of the line right there. Already disced once along to the pivot. So I'm gonna turn it off here maybe 10-20 minutes. Next day in another field. Kind of sucks seeing this beautiful cover crop go, but it is what it is. We gotta do what we gotta do. Well, looks like the neighbors are planting. Wish I could be doing that right now, but instead I'm going doubled over this field right now. And that's it for this week. Hopefully next week we're gonna start planting. That's the plan anyway. I don't know if we'll get to it, but that's the plan. So as for now, thanks for watching.